I don't know Road Atlanta very well or at all, so I'll try to dial it up on the simulator and take a few laps before we go out there. I'll go check some online stuff, best line through Road Atlanta. Those boring guys on the internet who strap the talk you through their hot lap and their
It's nothing like watching somebody's 90-minute YouTube video laps around Road Atlanta.
Before we did that Trans Am race at Willow Springs, that's what I did. I just went online and watched the guy in his 911 turn a bunch of hot laps. And it was like, turn in here. And then it's always that stupid thing, like when you get to the top of the horseshoe, look for the B in Budweiser on the side of the cinder block building. You should be aiming straight at the B. Don't turn in until you're facing the B, Then they always give you this one. The one that never works is turn 8. Because it's so big, it's so sweeping, it's so fast, and they're like, you should see a windmill in the distance. And like, not on the property or anything, just as you're about halfway through turn 8, you're supposed to just look off into the yonder.
Yeah.
And just into the distance. And you'll see a silo grain.
A maintenance worker on the top.
When that silo grain lines up with your hood ornament, you should start turning in. Like, it's weird because the car's vibrating so violently and it's so loud, and you find yourself looking off into the distance for some silo grain or something, which means now I'm supposed to start turning in. Or
yeah,
it never really works. The better idea is find the guy who's faster than you because he's ahead of you, and then follow him.
Yeah, do a couple, like lead follow kind of laps. But that guy that was running around in the 911 taking his video was his gauges in pit mode the whole time, or how does that work?
Only me. He has analog stuff.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, find that guy. Now, Max Zapata, if you type in Willow Springs best line, you'll find a guy in a 911 who will talk you through it. And when you get to turn 8, you'll see that he's talking about these landmarks that are on in different time zones, on different acreage that you're supposed to be looking at and using.
Yeah.
And by the way, I can't even remember what I'm supposed to do once I see it. Something.
You'd just be lucky I found it. Maybe I'm supposed to turn or hit the brake. I forgot what he said in the video, but if it's a second too late or a half a second too late, who knows? But
so Rich McDonald is going to come in. He's the sales and promotions guy for Super Performance and Superformance. These guys do all the rolling chassis of all the cool cars. Do we have him narrating? Because I got a lot to talk to Rich about. Do we have him narrating this thing, Max Zapata?
Where? You want to move to the side of the track for the entrance to 8. Most cars will not need to brake. Many cars won't need to even let up on the gas. It's a very fast corner. You want to dive into it and get toward the inside edge of the track as fast as you can. There are washboard-like bumps in turn 8, and they're the worst mid-track. Just ride the inside, accelerating gradually, and looking for that very late apex. There is a red mark on the track for that, but you won't be looking at the track at this point. You'll just be going really fast. Here's turn 8 at speed.
Now I'm looking at this going,
My only tip for turn 8 is that, as scary as it is, people very rarely go off the track here. It can hold a lot of speed. Many cars should be flat on the gas from the exit of 5 all the way to the exit of 8. It's hard to get your brain to accept this initially, but that's what repeated visits to Willow are for.
Yeah, I've never been there. Now, you got to find the one where he's telling you to look for the marker, or maybe it's the top of the horseshoe where he's telling you to aim for the B of the Budweiser. But no, Chris, you got to get out of turn 8 for him to tell you what to look for. Going into turn 8, yeah. And also, I was looking at it, and he's like, he's going 125, 128. Like, I'm going to be doing 163.
Yeah.
And his 128 seems exceedingly fast already. But
yeah. But now after the fact, after you've done it, you've realized he didn't have the arrow that you had.
That's right.
And that makes you grippier going up there, you know.
Again,
it was interesting.
A good conversation to be had before the race.
Before the race.
Would have been helpful. Anyway, you got it? All right, sorry. Now here's exiting. Oh, there's a turn 9? I didn't know that. I thought it stopped at 8. All right, he'll talk you through it, Mr. Personality.
Up mid-track, and then doing some moderate braking when you're settled on the short straight between 8 and 9. Then things get tricky. My tip is to spot the new building that's been put up near the entrance to the track.
All right, how far away is that building from where you are?
If he didn't have an arrow pointed to it, you'd never... I don't know what he's talking about.
Toward the left edge of the track. But you want to do that drift very slowly. And you want to use the building you see as a reminder to look further to the right to a white water tower. Which is
oh my God,
I told you!
You want to spot that tower and drive toward it. You want to let the line between you and that tower determine the path you'll take to the left side of the track and the turn-in point for turn 9.
I went around that turn...
If you had the time to look down...
I went around that turn 40 times. I think the first 3 times I was like, where's that water tower? I was like, oh shit, the car's vibrating.
You're going so fast. There's no way you're going to see it. Here's the problem when your track is surrounded by the worst environment ever. It's just dirt out there. Dirt and dirt. That's it. That's why every other track is so much better than Willow.
Just to spot a building and then another water tower miles away from where you are.
It's a speck in the horizon.
It's a speck. Keep going with it. I want to see what happens later. All right, so we see the first building.
You see that there are 3 red marks for cones on the very left edge of the track. If you have followed the path to the tower and resisted the urge to turn in too early, you'll want to finally make your turn in for 9 right around the middle of those 3 red marks.
Which you don't see because you're going 160 miles an hour.
That white tower is.
No, it's not. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the distance.
There is almost
always
a cone at the apex of 9. You do not want to miss this apex by very much at all. When you get it right, you'll feel the car get drawn down to a low spot on the track right by that apex. If you feel that whoomp, you should know you'll be fine on the exit of 9. At that point, you can use as much of the left side of the track as you need. You'll probably be somewhere between 80 and 100 miles per hour when you pass that apex cone. If you got it right, you can relax, check your gauges, and accelerate down the main straight to set up your next lap.
I remember just watching this video thinking we're all going to die. That's all I can think of. When he gets to the top, when he gets to the horseshoe, he'll tell you to look for the Budweiser, the B in the Budweiser sign, and point your car at the Budweiser sign. We'll take a look at that in a second. All right, let's see what he wants us to do with the horseshoe here with the Budweiser building.
Straight up the hill, ignoring that rumble strip you pass on the right. It's not an apex, and ignoring the fact that the track is turning a long couple of heartbeats before you do. I tell students to head for the B in Budweiser on the wall.
Where? I can't
even see it. The point is to not start turning to the right until the alternative is to shoot off the track.
Also, I think he just missed
turn 4 to the left, much further to the left than your instincts will suggest. You want to keep the arc of this corner as wide as possible, where your speed will drop down to its lowest point on this slowest part of the track.
I aimed for that B and I went right off the track.
You can't see that B at all. All you see is glare.
To be fair, it's much clearer than the water tower in the other county,
well,
right?
It's about 3 miles closer to you, so it is a little bit easier to see.
Right.